Welcome to Pod Have Mercy.
I really feel honored and humbled to be with Bishop Mande Muyombo, who is the Bishop of North Katanga, Tanganyika, and Tanzania. And we've had you on Pod Have Mercy, the podcast, before.
Yes.
On Zoom and in person in Houston.
That is correct.
This time, we are in your office in Tanzania, in Dar es Salaam. And so, thank you for having us to come in and visit with you. It's been fun to spend some time with you and tour. We're just getting started, but I wanted to take a moment for you to have a chance to share. There's a lot of United Methodists in the United States, and they're always curious about how things are going in Africa. Why don't you start with Tanzania, where we are now, like the exciting things happening in the United Methodist Church of Tanzania, and then we'll kind of go broader.
Yes. Thank you, John. It's good to have you. This is a dream come true. Not long ago we were in Houston, and here you are. The Tanzania Annual Conference is growing. We are still building churches. We are making disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. And now, in the season of the new vision, Tanzanian Methodists are empowered by the Holy Spirit. They are committed to loving boldly, to serve joyfully, and lead courageously. We have ministries around youth development, women development, health. Health centers are being built with the support of the Global Health Unit of Global Ministries. And we are providing water to the underprivileged. And Chapel Hood has built a well in the Maasai district that you are going to visit. But also yesterday you witnessed the vividness at Bethel United Methodist Church, which was again built by members of your church.
Yes.
So it is exciting, it's a new day. And the other thing I'm happy about is young people. I mean, young people, you've seen my staff here, most of them are young, proud to be disciple of Jesus Christ, and more importantly, proud of being United Methodist. So that's where we are right now. I think we are moving forward.
And we're excited with Jeff here and coming to visit. We're at the beginning of this week journey, but to be able to worship with you and with Pastor Jeremiah and District Superintendent Isaac and the whole community, it was really exciting. And to see and to hear about the school and the dreams for expanding and growing, and also reaching people for Christ, and hearing that there are Muslim families that their children go to the school and then now they are converting and becoming Christian and joining the church is something you just don't see a lot in the United States, that sort of excitement. I was struck by, we talked about this, there's a charismatic excitement element about the church, United Methodist Church in Africa, but also very organized and very structured. Everybody has their role and their duty. A lot of lay people involved, giving presentations and reports. And I just think it sort of brings together the best of both worlds, of the filling of the Holy Spirit and then the organization of the church, which is one of the reasons why I think you've grown so much in Africa. How many United Methodists are there in the Tanzania Annual Conference?
We are close to 100,000 based on our recent statistics. In fact, I'm grateful to our communication director who has done mapping, and we believe that by your prayers and your presence and the commitment I see in this new season, we're going to grow more, even in the days to come.
And your dream also is, you're over a lot of conferences, a big area. Your dream is that Tanzania is going to continue to grow and hopefully very soon be ready to become have their own bishop.
Yes.
From Tanzania.
Yes, I am now, as I've been telling them, that I'm working myself out of my job as a bishop in Tanzania. I believe that one of the gifts of the United Methodists is to invest in local leadership. I believe that there are Tanzanians who are capable of leading the church here. Of course, based on our benchmarks as articulated in paragraph 404 of the Book of Discipline. We need to, my role right now is to organize our administration, is to increase our capacity, is to raise more leaders, is to increase our membership, but also increase our sense of stewardship so that people can donate more to the general church. And I pray that by 2028, if latest maybe 2032, but my prayer is 2028, that Tanzania is going to be an Episcopal area and they're going to have their own bishop. Among these young people that you have seen, whether a male or a female, they'll be able to lead the church.
You have great leaders. They're in the other room having a party while we're doing this thing. And they are young and they're very sharp. To hear each one give a report of what's going on, that's got to be exciting when you see young people who are excited about growing the church. I also saw a presentation for you, these all over Tanzania is huge, most people don't understand. And there's churches and schools and hospitals everywhere. And again, you've shared this on our podcast previously, but the philosophy in Africa when you are going out into communities and starting new churches, it's a holistic philosophy.
Yeah, it is to have, we build a church, we build a school, we build a health center, we dig a well so that people can have access to water, and then we develop a farm so that people can have access to food, and we also, train the communities, we respond to disasters. I mean, I have to tell you, our United Methodist Committee on Relief, AMCOR, continues to be an impactful ministry that help not only Methodists, but also people from other faiths. And that's what makes the United Methodist Church unique in this part of the world.
And that's what's interesting about the Bethel Church in Dar es Salaam, is the children from all over the community come. And Pastor Jeremiah was saying even during Christmas and Easter, they have festivals or parties where everyone in the community, because in that particular neighborhood, it's 90% Muslim.
That's right.
Where he is in that part of Dar es Salaam, and yet they're reaching the community. He wants to expand. One of the things I think is fascinating, to train women with sewing or crafts or trades, so that then they can go back out into the community and have a trade or a skill that then they can raise up their family. All of that is, it's powerful to see how God is at work. Let's talk about Africa from a bigger perspective. What I find is that a lot of times in the United States, and we do this with our politics as well, is either the news or the social media highlights one little story here, one little story there, but no one really has the big picture of things that are going on, and myself included. I include myself in that. You have been a bishop now since 2017?
That's correct.
Since 2017.
Yes.
You're very involved in the College of Bishops of Africa. You just elected new bishops in Burundi. Talk just a bit about that.
Yes. Burundi was way back an evangelical Episcopal church that joined the United Methodist. I think it was in the 1980s. And then because of conflict in that region, the bishop relocated, and then they lost the Episcopal area. It went to Uganda, and Bishop Wandabula helped the church expand in East Africa tremendously. I was in Burundi a few weeks ago to install the new bishop, Bishop Emmanuel Sizaogera. The old stadium, we had the installation at a stadium. I was amazed myself to see lay and clergy, government officials, private sector come together to a stadium and witness the installation of the new bishop of the Burundi Episcopal area. Wow. So which tells you that in Africa, people love Christ, and people love the United Methodists. There's been a new bishop in Mozambique. Mozambique is now expanding to South Africa and Madagascar with the support of Global Ministries. There's been a new bishop in Zimbabwe, a new bishop in East Angola, which extends up to Namibia. In December last year, I went to witness the election of the new bishop in Nigeria. And let me share with you that in 2012, one annual conference broke away from the United Methodist Church with 400,000 members. They are now back in the church. So as a sudden, the United Methodist Church in Nigeria, regardless of what you hear, the numbers now are expanding exponentially. We are now even exploring the possibility of Nigeria having a second Episcopal area. Liberia.
So Liberia is one that people in the United States, if they're really into the United Methodist thing, they say, oh, Liberia is going to leave the United Methodist Church. Nigeria is going to leave. People are told things from different channels or whatever of what's happening. You're telling me that something different than...
I was at the Central Conference. Bishop Choir, who leads the Liberian, now is going to even move to Ivory Coast, because even if Ivory Coast left, there are still individuals in Ivory Coast who wants to be United Methodists. And Liberia is going to cater for those individuals. And he stood up in the middle of the Central Conference and said, Liberia is committed to remaining United Methodists. I don't think that more than 100 people left the United Methodist Church in Liberia.
100?
I don't think so. I think the majority of the people in Liberia are remaining United Methodists. Sierra Leone, remember we lost Bishop Yambasu a few years ago? Sierra Leone also has a new bishop, James Baikoka. So the West Africa Central Conference is very strong. Let me also share with you that the General Conference also established the new East Africa Central Conference. So Africa now, instead of 3 Central Conferences, Africa has 4 Central Conferences, which I hope are going to be regional conferences in the near future. So it is to share with you that the United Methodist Church in Africa is still standing strong and growing.
Well, it's encouraging to hear, because sometimes you hear stories. There's also been people post things on social media about violence between people who have left the United Methodist Church or by United Methodists on people. There is some stuff going on with properties that they're arguing about. You have one here in Tanzania that you talked about. Tell the story about a church here in Tanzania where the pastor left and took the church, but 97% of the members of the church are wanting to stay United Methodist and are now worshiping in a tent near the church. That is correct. I mean, the pastor who left is a wonderful man. I love him. I agonize over his departure. I cannot question his integrity. I think he's made his choice. But the only thing I regret is that because that church was being supported by a church that is affiliated, so maybe he was coerced to leave with the church. So we are in court. We have good relationship, but we are probably different. We have differences on principle. I think the trust clause is very important. But I was amazed that 97% of the members sent a representative to this office, and they sat with me. They said, Bishop, we don't believe we can leave the church now. We may be leaving the building, but help us to get a tent, help us to get musical instrument. We'll continue to be United Methodists even if we will worship under a tent. And that's where they are, with a local pastor who is catering for them. And I share with you that during that process, the leader of the women of our conference, through that struggle, she felt a call to ministry. And in August, she'll be going to Africa University. So in as much as I'm still regretting about the fact that we haven't recovered our property, but I am excited because the church continues to worship under a tent and remaining United Methodist. One of the things I'm learning, and I think it's important for people in the United States to hear, is that you are going through the legal process in Tanzania.
Yes.
There's no violence, there's no fighting. They submitted some legal documents. It's going through and it won't get resolved until next year.
Yes.
It seems like to me that the legal process in each country and the trust clause should be followed. Some people talk about being law and order or being, conservative and honoring the rules, and yet some people then say, well, the rules don't apply to me.
Yeah.
You're going through the process, the legal
Yes.
process. So even though at this stage you don't have access to the building, you are being patient to go through the
Yes.
legal process.
Yes.
And then hopefully by next May, the courts will rule in favor of the United Methodist Church.
Yes, and I'm also grateful to the fact that there is no violence. I think even our friend who left us, we are doing this with civility. As I said, that we differ in terms of how we understand the principles, and we will continue to be brothers and sisters. And I hope, because we believe that the law is on our side, that we will be able to recover the building. But let me share with you that other places, I understand the emotions. I mean, if you talk the case of other places, there's been a history. In fact, in collaboration with General Council on Finance and Administration, as the president of the Africa College and General Secretary Moses Kuma, we are bringing together, and Bishop David Grave, who is the president of GCFA, we are bringing all legal councils or chancellors coming from various annual conferences in Africa. And we are going to have discussion about properties, because this is something that we have never experienced.
Yeah.
So we have to learn how to do it as Christians without violence, but just following the law. But at the same time, we need to build capacity in terms of how we understand our legal framework. And let me also share with you, John, that this is probably an opportunity to say the common good, whatever is built through partnerships such as between Tanzania and Chapelhood, it is for the Tanzania Annual Conference. It is not for individuals. Yes, it is built out of relationships, but it is for the glory of God's kingdom. It is for the Tanzania Annual Conference. Mm-hmm. So I hope that that principle will continue. And this is a new experience for us, but we, as United Methodists, we cannot condone violence. I think we have, in as much as there may be differences, we'll continue to find peaceful ways of dealing with such issues whenever they arise.
I think if you're a Christ follower, you're going to understand that there are fallen people. Even good people sometimes have bad moments. And I think on both sides, you're going to have people that are going to behave badly.
That's right.
That doesn't mean it's okay.
Yeah.
But I think the other point is, I think you're to honor the law and to go through the legal process. And if the process says that you can take a church and the courts side with you on that, then that's one thing. But for people who go occupy a space and remove without going through the legal process, to me, that's not how we're called to live. Go through the legal process in whatever country it should be done, and which is what I really respect about the Tanzania conference, is you have 97% of the members could just go in there and say, we're taking our church back.
Yes.
But they're not doing that.
No.
I don't know that a lot of people
They're not.
I don't know, Jeff, I don't know that that'd be me. I got 97%. We could put you in the tent. But no, I mean, that's a good example that Christ really is leading that. I just think people need to be careful when they post things on social media and they get like a snippet or something. No one is on the ground. You are.
Yes.
Bishop Emmanuel is. Maybe there are people on the other end of the spectrum that are sharing things. You got to put all the pieces together. I don't think it's right when we take one little snippet and throw it out there. This is what the news in the United States does. They inflame, they anger, they cause fear. When we participate in that, I think we're participating with the devil to help divide and not. We should be understanding. We should say, why is this happening? What is wrong here? Are you in the right? Are you in the wrong? Let's dialogue. The way you're doing this with your pastor here in Tanzania, who you say is a good man, and you're working with him. That's the way it should be happening.
Yes.
In every place.
Yes, and because at the end of the day, if we do it the other way with violence, it weakens our prophetic witness to the community. Even vis-a-vis the government, vis-a-vis other stakeholders, we are meant as Christians, regardless to where we are in denominations, to continue to defend our Christian ethics, even when we differ. So I think, and I pray that there will be a point where, just an anecdote. I was at the Atlanta airport, and I met individuals who used to be my pastors, and I stood up, I went to them, and we greeted each other with joy. And they asked me, Bishop, are you okay? Yes. Are you coming from the Council of Bishops? Yes. Are you coming from your meeting? Yes. And then we were on the same flight. So I felt so happy at that moment. I believe that regardless where you're going to land, we need to look at each other as brothers and sisters in Christ.
Yeah. I agree with that, and I think that people have to make their own choice, but then you don't have to demonize someone for making a choice that you may not agree with. All right, so real quick, we'll wind this down, but when you sent me the pictures of the bishops being consecrated in Burundi, I read that the president of Burundi, or you sent it to me,
yes,
he stood up in front of tens of thousands of people at the stadium,
yes,
and said, kind of communicated how important the United Methodist Church is. And did he encouraged everyone to stay unified and to be at work for the kingdom, which I thought that's pretty powerful from a president of a country.
And also he acknowledged the impactful work of the United Methodist Church, not only spiritual work, but also social development. Mm-hmm. And John, few months ago, April last year, I was in Mozambique with Bishop Nanala. We met with the president of Mozambique, and he said, we are grateful to the wonderful work that the United Methodist Church is doing. Whenever there was flooding, we saw AMCOR responding to the need of people. I mean, these are high-level head of states who recognize the impactful work of the United Methodist Church. And this is all over Africa.
Yeah.
That's what you see. And that's what makes the Cross and the Flame a great brand in the kingdom.
It's very important here. I can tell everywhere you go, that Cross and Flame. So as we end, what are some things or anything that you'd like people in the United Methodist Church in the United States to know? What words do you just want to make sure and let them know about not only your areas, but all of Africa and the other bishops as you communicate together? Just anything that you'd like for them just to know and be aware of as we continue to do ministry.
I really want them to know that Africa, they have invested a lot in Africa. When I look at the United Methodist Church, we are proud of our siblings Methodists in the U.S., regardless of the I don't know how to call them. These are acronyms that we give to each other.
I know.
I told you that to us here, what we know is we are Christians, and then secondly, we are United Methodists. So our Wesleyan identity is very strong on this continent in Africa. And I want them to know that United Methodists in Africa are praying for them. United Methodists in Africa are still moving on. You'll be surprised. There's a significant change of leadership this year in Africa. We have already elected 6 bishops. We're going to elect more, probably up to 9 bishops. And we have a new episcopal. Now we have 15 episcopal areas. So the church is expanding. So right now, what should we do? Let's capture the new vision. Let's form disciples of Jesus Christ. Let's love boldly one another. Let's serve joyfully. I mean, I want to see more mission partnership. I want to see more exchange of ideas. I want to see more worship experience. Or I was very amazed to hear that Jeremiah was doing a Bible study with
with Tammy Heinrich and
at your church,
yeah,
and doing it on
he's there every week online.
Doing this on a weekly basis.
Yeah,
I think we should, as I said in the previous pod, we have to focus on relationships. So I want United Methodist now to say, let's serve joyfully, let's lead courageously. The world now has challenges that requires us to be together, stand together, and respond to these challenges in a very prophetic way. And that's why I'm grateful to leaders like you who can come on the ground and worship with us.
Yeah.
You know, so this is exciting.
I shared with your team in there is that there's something unique about the way that you do what you do. There's a charismatic energy.
That's right.
The spirit is there, present, live, and yet very organized, very structural.
Yes.
And all the different lay people stand up. Someone gives the women's report. Someone gives the men's report. They give the structure. Someone that leads a prayer. Someone else leads a prayer. It's very lay driven. It's very communal and very organized, a very structural order of worship, but also very energetic, spirit filled.
And you know,
we can learn from that.
And
I think we can.
We have learned from you. I mean, here when you talk about Methodists, people say you guys are Americans. You know, you are organized. They know that Methodists start their worship on time. You know, we are strong spiritually, but we're very weak on organizations. But we are learning from you.
Yeah.
I mean, just to take this program here. I mean, whenever I go to the U.S., you can't go to a meeting without
an agenda for the week. And Rosemary did a great job putting this all together.
These are gifts that we learn from you. You learn from us, we learn from you. That's what makes us strong. And I think we should continue to do that.
Well, it goes like John Wesley.
That's right.
You know, I mean, the church was every time he went around, but he organized some systems.
That's right.
And put them in place. That's what you do here.
That's right.
I think that's one of the reasons why the church has been so successful in Africa.
Thank you.
Because you've taken your energy, your passion for Jesus, the Holy Spirit that fills you, but you're learning to structure and organize so that you look at the work all over Tanzania.
That's right.
It's amazing, and we're going to see a lot more of that as we go on. I'm excited to go to the Maasai district and to Mwanza for the Wesley College, and just to see more and more. Thanks so much thank you for having us.
Thank you to you.
And thank you for hosting us in your office in Dar es Salaam, and thanks for sharing with everyone. And I have no doubt that if anyone had questions about anything, you know, your email's on one of those Council of Bishops websites, and they can email you and get a dialogue with you. I'm so glad that you are a friend of mine, and I'm just grateful for you.
I'm blessed that you're my friend.
All right, thank you so much. Well, I'm John Stevens, and this is Bishop Mande Muyombo, and this is God Have Mercy from Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.